This is not CBS. This is CAN TV Channel 21. This is not 60 Minutes. This is 30 minutes of Black Star Still Rising. And I'm your host, Stephen Silver, Black Butterfly Carter. And we've got a dynamite show for you that is being sponsored by the Black Star Project and inspired by Philip Jackson, the late founder of the Black Star Group, and continued by Gloria Smith, the executive director of the Black Star Project. We're so happy to have you here today. I'm going to tell you a secret. I've got a thought leader here, one of the younger thought leaders that I know, but truly a thought leader. His name is Stephan McBride. I ain't gonna say Big Mac. Don't call you Big Mac. Right? Okay, I'll stay away from it. You know what? Yeah, we want to keep this high level.
Absolutely.
But Stephan, as opposed to Stephen, is one of the brightest stars on the horizon. He's a black star on the rise and rising already. And he's going to share some things with you that's going to break things down for the average viewer on things that affect him, her, the community, civic engagement, community engagement. It's going to be an outstanding program, and you make sure you get your pencil and paper together, because you're going to take notes. You're going to need to take notes. Now, you know what I usually do? I do something a little bit different.
Okay.
Instead of giving credit at the end of the program when we run out of time, I got to give my accolades out to all the folks ahead of me that make this possible. Does it make sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
I'm going to start with Darius Hillman, Executive Director of CAN TV.
Okay.
He's the gentleman that has made sure that organizations like the Black Star Project have an opportunity to address and get information out to the communities. Without Imani Payne in that, Imani, raise your hand, wave at the folks. Without Imani, we would not have a show. And we would not have a show if it were not for my backup, my associate producers, and that's Dr. Mike Washington and also Ellis Taylor. So you guys, you're not here today, but glad for you that we brought this out and that you've done what you needed to do to make this happen today. I should also say, and you know I'm quite proud of this. Come on, show it. 06. All right.
Absolutely.
I knew I could count on this brother for something important and something that he is going to bring.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your background. Where you're at University of Michigan.
Lawrence Tech.
Lawrence Tech.
University of Michigan is probably where I'm going to be headed to for postdoctoral PhD program.
Very good, very good. Okay. Yeah. And you're originally from Saginaw, Michigan?
Yes.
And Detroit, Michigan?
Yep.
Sometime Detroit, and you came to Chicago and doing things with, because you're the Chief Educational Officer. Make sure I get this title straight. Give us the title.
Absolutely, yeah. President and Chief Educational Officer for McBride Management. I have my own construction company. Branching out from the Michigan landscape to now Chicago landscape, and as you said, hailing from Saginaw, Michigan, I like to always pay my city homage. And then,
but comfortable in Chicago now. I would have thought you were Chicago, because you fit very sophisticated like Chicago people are.
Yeah. Right? I feel like it was boot camp when I first got here. So I think I've been completing all the classes for Chicago boot camp. So I'm comfortable here. But I came from the Detroit landscape, looking for opportunity and sustainability. That's one of my focus points. So
we're starting to broach some of these subjects that folks have heard, like sustainability and stuff, and they don't really know what that means, do they? Many of them don't. But we're going to talk about, let me hit some of the high points we're going to talk about, and that you're going to go into depth about. One is increased consciousness of energy consumption. You've heard about energy consumption. You heard about the windmills and folks shutting down. I ain't going to talk about that, shutting down the windmill. We're going to talk about sustainability. We're going to talk about, here's the interesting part, artistry in motion via technology and innovation.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you start to go for it.
Okay.
Pick out the one you want to hit first. Okay, tell us one.
I think the easiest one is artistry in motion.
Oh, you like that one
Yeah,
best?
that's a good one.
All
That's
right.
a good one. For me, my initial coming of age, I was a second generation contractor. So I started learning about construction through education with my dad, and it wasn't the formal training of education. It was more of show up to the job site, and when you're here, you're going to be sweeping and
Sweeping, mopping up, and things
you
like
know how it is,
yeah,
right?
Go for it.
Exactly.
Getting paid for it.
Sometimes running to go get lunch and making sure that it's at least able to be edible for the few guys that are working. And then from there, I was always an artist at heart. And so my mom was very fortuitous enough to think about like what combinations that I could have as a young man with construction. So I went to school for architecture at Lawrence Tech, and I was learning a lot along the way. But one of the things I say for like artistry in motion is I've always been an artist, and so one of my mediums.
I saw some of your stuff in your sketchbook.
Yes,
I can tell it's there.
Yes, sir.
It's in the heart.
It is.
All right.
It is. So that's one of my creative outlets. But I do right now continue like additive manufacturing or 3D printing, and so I have a few trinkets that I'll make. I have some jewelry, some lock beads, different things like that.
You're kind of a Renaissance man.
You know,
that's a good way to describe you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
Renaissance
I
man, because you're an alpha man too.
Oh,
All you D9
dude.
brothers, I can't help it. I'm alpha to the bone for 65 years. So
that's a long time.
right.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much for all
right.
that. Right? You've been doing an incredible
and you've
job.
been made how many years? You came out of was it Alpha? No, Theta Omega. No,
Theta Tau.
Theta Tau.
Theta Tau.
Okay.
Yes. Theta Tau. That's Flint, Michigan.
Hey, raise your hand. I had some brothers from Theta Tau.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're watching now. Wait. Remember your line brothers?
Oh, yeah. They're brothers.
Right, that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on, guys?
Okay.
But yeah, Flint, Michigan, which was a citywide chapter at the time, and I came to get familiar with them while attending a community college in between some graduate issues. So, I always like to pay homage to Flint, Michigan as well. That city really taught me about education. And I think that gave me a passion for educating the youth in a way that has carried with me since then. So that was 2013, and I've been holding it down ever since.
You know what fascinated me? If folks know, so folks, raise your hand. You know how I try to get some background about my guests ahead of time. One of the things that fascinated me was your study in best practices, going to different cities. Talk about best practices and how they impact what you're doing here in Chicago.
Absolutely. So one of the things that one of my pastors told me when I was a youth was, if it's not growing, it's dying. And so I always have had a measure of, let me look at what's next on the landscape, right? Okay. What's coming up? What are the hot trends and hot items within this landscape?
You said space? Trends, not just fashionable things. Not just, things that just go out of style right away.
Absolutely not.
Trends, you're watching those. Okay, go ahead.
And we have to have a finger on the pulse for anything that is going to be related to our environment and our community. And so I have a strong passion for our community and any communities that I've lived in. So Saginaw, Flint, Detroit, now Chicago landscape.
Did you have anything to do with getting that water straight in Flint?
No.
That's another story.
I was teaching during that time, though.
Oh, really?
And that was at the University of Michigan, Flint. I was doing education. It was a pre-college program for high school students. So it was getting them ready for college.
Getting them involved, engaged, like our students at the Black Star Project. They are getting prepared along the same lines. Yeah. And similar to what you did as a trainer, as a teacher, etc., getting them prepared for real life situations.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that's one of the things I currently do is so that what I learned in Flint is now helping me pivot into workforce development and education. So currently I'm doing a workforce development program with Project Hood. That's on the south side of Chicago.
South side.
And they've been a great host site for getting my first feet wet into actual programs in Chicago landscape.
Knee deep or put your toes in? Which one?
I think I'm up to the neck now.
You okay? Yeah. As long as there's no alligators around, right?
No, we're good here. But so I teach the foundation for construction and education, and so they come out of the program with first aid certification, with OSHA certification. We're looking at OSHA 30 and some other things to advance their learning
How long
pathways.
does that take? How many sessions do they give us give our viewers a little bit about what that is, how long it takes, and how to get involved. Is there a way to get involved down the line?
Absolutely.
Okay, share that with us.
So this is my second cohort with them. They're going to be my second cohort. They're graduating pretty soon, next week. We'll be graduating them, and so they'll, like I said, first aid card, OSHA card, and then they're also getting a NCCER card, which
what does that mean?
National Center for Construction, Education, and Research.
Okay, is that in the construction management area?
So they have actually around 100 curriculums, different curriculums, ranging from all different
Listen
rods.
up, folks. So, get your sons, daughters, and aware of this. We're going to give you some more information so that you might want to line your family up, your nieces, nephews, sons, daughters, etc. Keep that in mind. That's why I told you to take notes.
Yes.
You better take notes.
Very note heavy. But they have a great curriculum, and so they look for qualified instructors that are able to deliver those curriculums. And so, with my background in construction and architecture, I was a shoe-in for that.
You at the top of the qualification list.
Yes, and with the education component, we've done really well. So I'll say, I'm super happy to be involved with the program. We're starting another intake for another cohort that should be starting, fingers crossed, like around March.
Toes too.
I got you. Everything crossed.
I'm crossing all for you. Yeah.
So we're going to start another cohort, and hopefully that class is going to be much bigger than the most recent class. I think the wintertime kind of slowed attendance down a bit.
Especially that cold snap.
We couldn't do some of the things we normally do, so I typically have them do a hands-on project, so build something. But since it's so cold outside, we had to take it inside. So we did some art projects instead with construction, which I thought was really interesting. But it's around 4 months long for that. We're trying to get done.
3 times a week?
3 times a week with this program, 3 times a week for 4 hours a day. So it's not a big commitment. So we do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's been our current schedule. It's been working really well. 5 to 9, so it's right after work. If anybody does have work, you can still attend. And then they leave with, the instructor's pretty cool. I'll say that for sure.
Look at you leading.
Right?
I can't say anything different.
And so I teach a lot of things that are outside the curriculum, real life.
These life experiences?
Yes.
Okay, and you translate or combine and coordinate life versus the classroom.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, too.
Yeah.
What kind of surprises your students about that interrelationship between life and the classroom?
So I was like, one of the things that's key in this program and that I'd like to integrate is really learning about yourself as a person. You can't be a business owner or entrepreneur or even an employee without knowing how you work well with others, or if you're having a bad day, maybe you should take some time and just sit back and just re-engage yourself or re-engage yourself with the community. So those are some of the things that are not necessarily construction related, but they do relate to construction, because if you show up with a bad attitude, I don't want to work around you if you got a wrench in your hand.
Who wants to work around you?
Yeah, he's swinging hammers, and I don't want you swinging my way. So I want you to be calm and in peace.
Positive.
Exactly.
Yeah, expect the best for that day.
So those are really key and important. And I think engaging yourself as an individual with the program outside of the construction. And then I teach some small things, hopefully, like how to repair drywall holes. That's not in the curriculum, but it's something that,
practical, too. Somebody poked a hole in that drywall?
Yeah.
You don't have to call in a painter or a contractor to do all that plastering and stuff?
You can become one yourself. And so I like to teach practical things. So, start another program on the west side as well. And ideally...
West side?
Yep.
You're going to go south side to the west side? That's a combination. That's needed. Wait a minute, have you got a phone number or email or whatever that you want to tell our audience about?
Absolutely.
Or do they have to call me? We do a combination.
They can call you, but I do have a following here on Instagram. I do have a following under McBride by Design.
Let's write that down.
So that's one of the followings, and then there's a CEO page on there. That's something different. But I also say one of the things I do is also engage the community with education via YouTube. So I have a YouTube channel. It's at Climate Kings Global, and so on there.
At Climate Kings Global.
Yes.
Okay, don't be afraid of saying that a few times.
Yeah, at Climate Kings Global. That's the YouTube page. It's Climate Kings Global Network, and the idea behind that is to really teach the community anything dealing with construction, sustainability, or energy efficiency. The first sign that we should take care of is education.
Oh, hold on just one second. I just saw a few more people that came into the audience.
Absolutely.
They see you sitting here. They know, they can tell you're interesting and you're engaged, but they don't know who you are.
Yes.
Folks, do you know who this is and why he's here? This is Stephan A. McBride. Not to be confused with Big Mac.
No, not Big Mac.
Okay. And he is here to talk about things that talk about sustainability, things that he's able, extremely able, to break things down where the average person looking at this, my grandma or whomever, can understand how this impacts the community. And I want you to talk about how policy is affected by a way to actually do it.
Yeah.
It's not just talking about policy. It's
No.
talking about. Tell us about your experiences in making folks actual do things.
So that's a great point. So there's a program, well, there's quite a few programs out. One of them that was kind of like de-enlisted right now. There's a lot of things going on in the administration, but we had a Justice 40 initiative,
Right.
and that really pushed the idea of environmental justice and what that looks like. And so a lot of times in Black and brown communities, we don't have the same luxuries for energy justice or
Energy justice, okay.
or even water justice. So like in Detroit a while ago, there was a flood, and it flooded in most of the Black brown areas.
Oh,
so it
I'm
wasn't
surprised.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
We were surprised.
We were surprised. Yeah.
So those things impact our communities at a higher scale and higher clip, and so some of the solutions that we need aren't necessarily found in our direct ecosystem, which is why I started traveling outside of just the Detroit landscape to a broader range like Chicago. So Illinois is doing some great work as far as putting policies in place to foster good relationships for green energy, energy justice, and environmental justice.
Because this is some reason you kind of interested in the underserved communities.
Yeah.
You've identified them. You've had to do some analysis of what the needs are. Tell us you folks listening out there, tell us what some of the critical things that folks are experiencing that need to be addressed and they don't know how to do it. Give our audience a little feel for that.
So, one of the things is, and when we talk about environmental justice, we don't necessarily know what that means exactly, but I'll say that during the summertime it gets hot. And if you are not cooling or have the right heating or cooling systems, you're not necessarily able to cool yourself off fast enough. And so in the Chicago landscape, there have been, unfortunately, some deaths due to heat illnesses in hot spaces. And so with our homes or our properties not necessarily being the most efficient they could be, we're experiencing some large health disparities. And my goal is to alleviate some of those health disparities by focusing on not only the energy efficiency part, but how are our homes maintained, kept, and durable along the way. So I think that's one of the critical points. I really like for people to know that.
You told me about that, and you told me about a very interesting concept that needs explained: energy stewardship.
Yes.
Energy steward. Write that down. He's going to break it on down to you.
Absolutely.
All right. Go ahead, Stephan.
So I wanted to create the idea that we are energy efficiency, sustainability. These seems like big terms and things that are outside of our realm of access.
We hear it all the time, and nobody stops to find out. You got one of the experts here that can break this down to you. So you better listen and get ready to what? Viva voce. What does that viva voce mean? Pass it on.
Oh yeah.
All right.
That's
You got to pass
critical.
it on. Go ahead.
Education is key. So with stewardship, we each can be energy efficiency practitioners or sustainable practitioners. It's not the idea that we're purchasing a 100-foot wind turbine or an $8,000 solar system that we're going to slap onto the top of our roof. So
Well, we can't do that?
we can.
Okay,
we
but
could do that.
what do you advise in that area?
But
How to do it as a steward?
As a steward, we can start now. We can start today. Just paying attention to if your windows are open or closed. How often have you touched your thermostat? Are you programming your times on your thermostat if you're taking a vacation to come on or turn off?
That's an easy one.
It should be an easy one.
Or
right?
if you're working all day,
If you're working
it
on
doesn't have to be the heat has to be up or the cool
doesn't.
air has to depend upon what season it is.
It doesn't.
There's a way to control. And what does that do to your pocketbook?
Well, there's quite a few savings that you can list out for that, right? We don't think about it, but it's the small things that add up, and I think that's really how we really create change. Is the incremental small things, and so if we can just help.
Little bitty things that start to get up and grow and make it a habit almost too.
Yes, that's part of the stewardship. A major portion of energy efficiency is the behavior patterns, behavior of the occupants in your residence. Are you taking long showers? Are the lights left on? Do you even have a fan in the bathroom? Like, are there
I've never
bathrooms
heard
are
about
supposed
a fan in the bathroom. Honestly,
Yeah.
what does that do, having a fan in the bathroom?
So there are smells and moisture
Okay.
that come into the bathroom from
I
taking
thought
showers.
that's before you go into the bed.
There's still gas pipes that come through there. So, if your P-traps are not
Never mind.
with water, then yeah, there's still smells and things that can be addressed in there.
Okay.
But yeah, bathrooms are supposed to have fans, like up to 50
Oh, the
CFM.
exhaust fan. That's the one.
Exhaust
Okay.
fans.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm thinking about this big fan that you plug up.
No, not those. Well, it depends on what you ate for lunch, but I would say that generally, ideally, we can take about just a few minutes to think about the water that we're creating, breathing, and expelling needs to be exhausted.
In some way.
In some way, because what that does, that extra moisture either adds to our health or subtracts from our health. Sometimes it's too dry, and that makes our heating systems run a lot harder than they need to. So knowing those things, paying attention to how often are you turning the lights on in an abandoned room that you're not using. Those things are critical and important to managing your energy efficient load and your power bill. Over time, you can create a lot more savings for yourself, just being conscious of it.
Being conscious of it, if you're conscious of it, you're going to be aware and make the adjustments, the changes. If you see your bill going down, you say, oh,
Yeah.
this stuff that Mr. McBride told us about is actually working. Tell them about some of the critical things or the key tips that you would say.
For sure. So yeah, I would say if you haven't had a chance to look at your power bill in a while, take a look at your power bill. Actually, find out what it looks like. What do these numbers mean? What does KW mean? How much water are we consuming along the way? Good.
I'm good.
All right.
Give me that cough drop if you got in the pocket.
I don't have one of those, but
and money.
there's a few things that like I said, I want us to be more conscious about our energy usage, and that's going to help our pocketbooks along the way. Like, get yourself an extra steak dinner over the year.
Excuse me. You keep talking.
All right, I'll go ahead. Yeah. I'll say for in practice, the better stewards we are of our space, the better we can create microclimates and have some grid resilience. So one of the things.
The microclimate is your house, surrounding neighborhood. It's not the world.
Yeah,
okay.
It's what is this nearby property doing, and the few nearest properties next to it. And what type of ecosystem are we creating for the air? I mean, are we having some off gases of a smelly property, or are we having some
off
terrible
gases,
materials?
I've never heard that term. What does off gases mean?
So something like, even if we buy some furniture sometimes, the furniture comes with a certain amount of fire retardant, and those fire retardant has off gas. So cars, when we buy cars, they have this new car smell.
Yeah,
that new car smell is actually it's a chemical compound.
Is it a preservative or something that's supposed to draw people to the car?
It's not. It's a draw to the car. I think it's. We associate it with new, right?
Yes,
and something shiny and polished. But I'll say it's not necessarily the greatest thing. So there's some smells, that particulate matter that we're absorbing, that could give us headaches over time. And so those are just some things to notice. But I would say, get your hot water heaters checked out if you have a domestic hot water heater.
Listen now, I'm giving you a checklist of things to do. Hot water heater, check it twice a year? Beginning of the season, heating season, or what?
I would say
hot water, okay.
Yeah, hot water. Anytime you can get a chance, at least twice a year, I'll say for sure. One for maintenance, but then also for it's off-gassing potentially carbon dioxide, right? Which is not necessarily good for us. So we want to make sure that we're paying attention to that, because it creates potentially asthmatic triggers or symptoms in our breathing conditions. So
what about something basic as a carbon monoxide smoke detector kind of thing? That's a must, isn't it?
It is. Now those are programmed typically to run when you're way past your limit of breathing. So if it's going off, we were already knee deep into the problem.
Right. Open some windows, get out the house, whatever.
Most immediate thing, if it's wintertime, you can open some windows, but you want to get out the house. Those things up to a certain amount can kill you. It's a silent killer, and just those gases over time give us headaches, and like I said, trigger some asthmatic symptoms. So that's kind of how it relates back to the health. So I consider energy efficiency construction as a first responder.
Okay.
If we can take care of what we have in the house, we'll take care of ourselves a lot better.
Well, two things we want to hit again. One is a phone number or an email or whatever to contact you to get further information about what you do and what services you can offer a community or community organization. Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So McBride, SA at gmx.com.
You write Some of the people ain't writing it down. I told them to write it down.
They're not doing it, but
Yeah.
McBride
You see the one.
at
Yeah.
gmx.com. That's an easy way to follow up if you have any questions. Hopefully, I'll be able to answer. I post quite often on my YouTube page. That's at Climate Kings Global Network, and so on there, I'll be doing an educational series with these tips and tricks. And then this is just the start of the journey. Look, I'm pursuing higher education, so ideally this time next year, I'll have already submitted my application for a PhD program.
Working on that PhD.
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right,
I didn't
good.
see myself as going back to school, but here it is. It's time.
It's time. When you feel it, you got to go to do it. Okay. Are there any quick hacks? They talk about hacks. Any quick hacks you want to leave our audience with?
Outside of checking your domestic hot water heater, make sure if you have a gas burning stove, turn that fan on. It might be loud. If you have a recycler or an exhaust fan, turn that fan on, because standing over those burners is creating that gas, which could give you headache and trigger some asthmatic symptoms.
What should folks be doing in terms of their community? What's some of the things that you advise on that in that area, in that community engagement thing?
One of those things is be involved. Stay tuned to your local civic alderman's office. Find out if they have a newsletter, read the newsletter, teach a friend, tell a friend, and then, pick up your trash.
Pick up your trash.
Yeah.
Well, one thing we leave with, let me just show you. Put your arm up. Thank you for being here today. It's so important. Stephan McBride,
Yes, sir.
here, and also D9.
Yes, sir.
What fraternity is that again?
Alpha fraternity.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
you're an Alpha.
Yeah.
There we
It's been
go.
a great
Thank
show.
you for being with us today. He's coming back because he's got some more he wants to share with you.
Absolutely.
And thank you for being with us, my brother.
Thank you so much. It's
All
been a
right.
great joy.
Okay.
All right, you do the thing.
You watching this? Somebody's trying to. You got the other cameras over here.
Right. Do the thing. Cover it up, but for sure.
All
It's a
right.
great show.
Look for us next week. When you hear this, you know it is Black Star Still Rising, not ABC.
Smith, the Black Star Project.
Oh, boy.